On the news tonight, House of Assembly approves TRS White Consultant Limited as financial consultant to the Delta State government. Delta government cautions communities in Isoko land against actions that threaten peaceful coexistence. President Bola Tinubu declines assent to National Assembly Library Trust Fund Amendment Bill 2025. And abroad, Israel and Iran accuses each other of violating ceasefire deal. Hello and a warm welcome to Delta Television Main News. I am Tony Eluaka. Students from Delta State to emerge champions at the 2025 National Basic Education Debate Championship, earning the prestigious honor of representing Nigeria at forthcoming World Schools Debate Championship in Doha, Qatar, have visited Governor Sheriff Oboriwori. Receiving the students at Government House, Asaba, Governor Oboriwori described their victory as a testament to his administration's unwavering commitment to education. Ejime Udome reports.
Thank you. Thank you. As part of his administration's small agenda, the governor announced that the state government will fully sponsor the students' trip to the World Schools Debate Championship in Qatar. Governor Oboriwori emphasized the transformative power of education, describing it as the bedrock of any successful life. He charged the students to be of good conduct, listen to their coaches, and seize the opportunity to learn and grow from the international exposure. He expressed particular pride that the students, though trained locally, could stand tall on a global stage.
For you to represent our country, you have biggest grounds. And as a state, is to show that we have value for education. Because if this national debate are put upon turf, is something that is commendable, and this will inspire us to do more investment in education in Delta State.
Earlier, the Commissioner for Primary Education, Dr. Kingsley Ashibogo, congratulated the students for being worthy representatives of the state, commending their stellar performance at the national level. Also speaking, Chairman of the Delta State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, Honorable Samuel Mariri, said the children have made the state proud and assured them of support for the World Championship. Leader of the victorious team, Chukwuma Wisdom, also thanked Governor Oboriwori for his contributions to improving school infrastructure and assured that the team would make both the state and the nation proud at the world stage.
Your Excellency, your achievements through more agenda are too numerous to mention. Your Excellency, we need your prayer as further as we go. We will do our best to conquer the world. We can't thank you enough for the money you released to make this dream a reality. And indeed, we are very grateful, sir.
The competition, organized by the President's Schools Debate, brought together top young debaters from all 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to showcase their oratory skills, critical thinking, and teamwork. The winning team from Delta State comprises Wisdom Chukwuma of Government College Ugeli, Otowo Uyoyo of Alegbo Secondary School, Efron, Abraham Honor of Okpaka Secondary School, Okpaka, Ekemati Splendor of Government Modern Secondary School, Asaba, and Aleka Daniel of Otagbogbe Grammar School, Kwale. Ejime Udume reporting.
The State House of Assembly has approved Governor Sheriff Oboriwori's request for the appointment of TRS White Consultant Limited as a financial consultant to the Delta State government. The approval followed a letter sent to the State House of Assembly read by the Speaker, the Right Honorable Emma Guwa. Favor Okafor reports.
Governor Oboriwori, in the letter to the House, said the approval followed a meeting of the State Executive Council. Gerald Life Consults Limited was engaged as financial consultant to Delta State Government to review, reconcile, and establish recoverable amount due to Delta State Government from the federal government of Nigeria.
The state legislature then upheld the request as put across by the Speaker, the Right Honourable Ward, through a voice vote. Also at plenary, the Speaker acknowledged receipts from the Auditor General States on the accounts of the state government for 2024 as well as the accounts of the Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission (DESOPADEC) for 2024, which were referred to the House Committee on Public Accounts for scrutiny. The Leader of the House, Honourable Emeka Mubi, then moved a motion for the House to adopt the calendar of seating for the third session of the 8th Assembly, seconded by the member representing Oshimile South, Honourable Bridget Anyafulu, and unanimously adopted by the House. Congratulating fellow lawmakers on the second-year anniversary of the 8th Assembly, the Speaker attributed the successes to team spirit and support to the leadership of the House by fellow lawmakers. He called for renewed commitment to the constitutional duties of lawmaking, representation and oversight functions as the third session commenced.
We now continue to place the interests of our state ahead of all prejudices. Let us remain united, focused, and deliberate in our actions as we partner with executive and other stakeholders to deliver democratic leaders to our people.
The Right Honourable Ward thanked Governor Sheriff Oborowori for his support and synergy with the state legislature.
The State Assembly resumes on the 10th session. The Speaker, the Right Honourable Ward, has sued for more commitment from fellow lawmakers. From the State Assembly, and favour Okafor.
Wives of members of the State House of Assembly have visited the St. Barnabas Anglican Orphanage and the Motherless Babies Home, Asaba, to commemorate the 2 years anniversary celebration of the 8th Assembly. The report.
The wife of the Speaker, Mrs. Timigwon, said the aim of the visit was to celebrate the goodness of God and to donate food items to ameliorate the plight of the underprivileged children. Mrs. Guo urged the children to be good ambassadors of the state and advised them to read hard for them to come out with flying colors in their exams. She commended the coordinator of the orphanage and expressed satisfaction with the manner in which the home was being run.
I also want to bring greetings to you, the children. The Bible says, so I know the plans that I have towards you. It says they are plans of good, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope.
The coordinator of St. Barnabas Anglican Orphanage and Motherless Babies Home, Venerable Emmanuel Amiger, appreciated and expressed gratitude to the State House of Assembly members' wives for the donation of the food items and necessities and for checking on the well-being of the children. He encouraged all the corporate bodies, well-to-do individuals in the societies to emulate them in impacting the less privileged in the society.
We're indeed very happy and thankful to the wives of the honorable members of the House, led by the wife of the Speaker. We're indeed very, very grateful. We pray that Delta State will enjoy a very robust time of enacting laws that will affect the lives of Delta State under your watch and the watch of your spouse.
Items donated include yams, vegetable oil, golden meal, rice, noodles, toiletries, beans, gari, among others.
The state government has called on communities in Isokana to desist from actions that could fuel disunity and threaten peaceful coexistence. The special advisor to the state governor on peace building and conflict resolution, Chief Edu Nuzo, made the call during a peace building meeting held at the Isoko Development Union Secretariat in Oli, headquarters of Isoko South Local Government Area. Harry Unogwa reports.
The meeting brought together representatives of the Oliwe family of Iri and the Odegbe family of Aviara to address a lingering land dispute between the two communities. Chief Uzo, who presided over the dialogue, described the gathering as a follow-up to an earlier fact-finding mission to the disputed area and emphasized the need for honesty in presiding historical facts while urging the parties to remember their shared heritage and blood ties, noting that they were one people. He called on those in possession of additional documents or evidence to submit them to the state government for review, stressing that history suggested that the Odegbe family of Aviara had in the past generously given out land to Oliwe, his daughter, who was reportedly married to Abiago family. To ensure a more grounded resolution, Chief Uzo nominated key stakeholders from both families to embark on a joint fact-finding visit to sites within the disputed area that were yet to be inspected, and warned youth in the communities against being used as tools for violence or agitations over land issues, even as he affirmed the government's commitment to achieving a peaceful and lasting resolution.
We are the same people. We must eat together. There is no need for issues. People who are instigating the matter are people who are not members of the family. We don't need to quarrel. We don't need to fight. And incidentally, the two traditional ruler told me, I first visited the Ovi of Yagya. He told me that this matter is not really an Aga matter. That is family issue. I went to Iri. The Ojo also told me that this matter is not really an Aga matter. It's family issue. That we should look at it. Yes. That's what we are doing. Because only what will bring peace is truth.
The oldest women from both families gave oral narratives in their native dialects passed down through generations, while other community stakeholders expressed appreciation to the state government for its swift intervention and urged all parties to embrace peace. Among the disputed site visited was the Eterudede Shrine, located within the Buffalo Ranch area, alongside other boundary markers. Present at the meeting were the President General of both communities, representatives of traditional rulers, security operatives, and other critical stakeholders.
This is the Isoko Development Union Secretariat IDU in Ole, where the state peace team and the two conflicting communities in Isoko land have come to deliberate and dialogue over the disputed land crisis. For Delta TV, I am Henry Ono.
President Bola Tinubu has declined to sign the National Assembly Library Trust Fund Establishment Amendment Bill 2025 into law, citing constitutional policy and fiscal concerns. The bill, which seeks to transform the National Assembly Library Trust Fund into the National Assembly Resource Center, was returned to the House of Representatives yesterday with a formal letter from the President, read at plenary by the Speaker, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. While acknowledging the bill's good intentions, President Tinubu raised reservations about certain provisions, describing them as inconsistent with existing federal statutes and administrative policies. Among the areas of concern highlighted were the proposed funding structure for institutions under the National Assembly, taxation of federal entities, remuneration issues within the public service, and clauses relating to age and service limit. The President warned that allowing the bill to pass in its current form could set an unsustainable precedent with negative implications for governance and the broader public interest, and urged the lawmakers to revisit and revise the bill to ensure it aligned with constitutional requirements and sound fiscal practices. The amendment bill, which intends to strengthen the law establishing the National Assembly Library Trust Fund by proposing new funding strategies and expanding its mandate, will now return to the legislature for further deliberation, amendment, or a potential override. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu was assured that his administration will continue to prioritize infrastructural development in all parts of the country, stressing that such projects will be executed in a balanced and inclusive manner that will uplift communities, especially in rural areas. Speaking during the commissioning of the newly completed 15-kilometer A2 Pi Town Road in Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Abuja, President Tinubu affirmed his commitment to equitable development and national integration. The newly commissioned road, which connects the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway to Pai Town, was part of the 150 kilometers of roads completed across the 6 area councils of the FCT since President Tinubu assumed office. The president noted that infrastructure only holds value when it directly benefits citizens, improves livelihoods, and creates opportunities. Highlighting the strategic importance of the project, President Tinubu said the road will create a vital corridor for economic and social advancement. He also acknowledged the long-standing neglect of many rural communities and said his government was determined to reverse that trend. While commending the FCT Minister for prioritizing rural development, President Tinubu urged residents to take ownership of the new infrastructure and protect it as a tool for community. In a new approach to massive production of food and cash crops, the federal government has made available 2,000 tractors, 2,000 disc plows and harrows, and 1,000 disc riggers to farmers. The equipment, imported from the Republic of Belarus in Eastern Europe, was distributed yesterday after the inauguration by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. According to him, the distribution of the agricultural tools would mark a shift from subsistence farming to technology-driven and large-scale agriculture. Others are 1,200 tractors trailers, 500 seed drills, 300 boom sprayers, 10 harvesters, 12 mobile workshop vehicles, and 9,022 sets of spare parts. He explained that the launch is part of his government's initiative aimed at wooing the youth into mechanized farming, ensuring food security, and positioning the country as a global competitor. The president stressed his determination to present agriculture as a viable and profitable career path for the younger generation. The new agricultural program, initiated through a bilateral agreement with the Republic of Belarus, will see 550,000 hectares of farmland being put into production, the generation of more than 2 million metric tons of food yearly, and the creation of over 16,000 jobs. Nigeria is set to sign more than 30 memoranda of understanding MOUs with Brazil as the second session of the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism SDM kicked off today in Abuja. Brazilian Vice President Geraldo Alckmin and his wife Maria Lucien arrived Nigeria today through the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, marking the commencement of the highly anticipated dialogue. The high-profile visit represents a watershed moment in Nigeria's South-South diplomatic engagement and is expected to yield significant policy breakthroughs across multiple sectors. The Brazilian delegation was received by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwale, Minister of Livestock Development, E.D. Maiha, and Minister of Agriculture, Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, among other senior Nigerian government officials. The three-day summit will culminate in the signing of over 30 memoranda of understanding across critical sectors, including defense cooperation, agricultural technology transfer, energy collaboration, and cultural exchange programs. The Chief of Defense Staff CDS, General Christopher Musa, says hunger and poverty have become a national security threat. General Musa said this at the opening of the 14th National Security Seminar organized by the Alumni Association of the National Defense College, AANDEC, in Abuja. The seminar, with the theme Combating Hunger and Poverty for Sustainable Peace and Development in Nigeria, was organized in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, and National Defense College, NDC. The CDS, represented by the Chief of Defense Training, Rear Admiral Ibrahim Shatima, called for a unified national approach to combating hunger and poverty, stressing their growing impact on Nigeria's internal security. General Musa noted that the disruption of farming communities and the illegal occupation of farmlands contributed to food inflation, displacement, and mass migration, destabilizing the economy and national cohesion. The defense chief called on communities to deny criminals and terrorists sanctuary by supporting intelligence gathering, timely reporting, and community vigilance. The CDS called for urgent investment in grassroots agricultural development and urged the government and stakeholders to reposition farming as a noble and rewarding profession by enhancing access to credit, infrastructure, and market leakages. General Musa also praised President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, particularly its emphasis on financial autonomy for local government, which he described as vital to responsive and community-driven development. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has opposed the growing calls to allow Nigerians to bear arms as a solution to the worsening insecurity in the country. Mr. Egbetokun warned that such approach would only escalate violence and deepen insecurity across the country. The IGP spoke at the second Nigeria Democracy Week organized by the National Democracy Stakeholders Group, NDSG, in partnership with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, in Abuja. Represented by the Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja, CP Ajao Adewale, Mr. Egbetokun insisted that widespread civilian access to firearms was not the solution to the country's complex security challenges. He dismissed claims that the police assisted in election rigging, describing such allegations as a figment of the imagination, and maintaining that the role of police during elections was strictly limited to providing security and ensuring peaceful conduct. In his remarks, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, said the reforms introduced by the President Tinubu-led administration were laying the groundwork for long-term and national stability and inclusive economic growth. Meanwhile, in a major step towards modernizing the Nigeria Police Force, MPF, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, flagged off a comprehensive review of the force's training manuals and basic curriculum to align with contemporary security challenges and international best practices. The 5-day technical session, which commenced at the Proton Hotel, Ikeja, Lagos, brought together senior police officers, development partners, civil society organizations, academics, and other key stakeholders to reimagine police training in Nigeria. Represented by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of training and development, DIG Mr. Frank Kumba, the IGP described the review as more than a document update, calling it a bold step towards redefining the values, structure, and identity of the Nigeria Police Force. Mr. Egbetokun noted that existing training manuals had become outdated and no longer reflect technological advancement, democratic police and policing principles, or the complexities of modern crime, including cyber crimes and transnational criminal networks. The new training framework would focus on crime prevention, forensics, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, human rights, and gender sensitivity. Mr. Egbetokun emphasized that the process will be inclusive and collaborative, involving serving and retired officers, education experts, civil society authors and actors, and communities. He commended President Bola Tinubu for the unwavering support for police reform and acknowledged the technical assistance of international partners, including the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, the Federal Republic of Germany, and the Global Security Sector Reform Foundation. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Bauchi State Office, has announced plans to inaugurate an intensive media campaign aimed at raising awareness among users and sellers of agricultural chemicals. The state coordinator of NAFDAC in Bauchi, Mr. Hamis Yahaya, disclosed this in an interview with Newsman. He said the campaign had become imperative with the onset of the rainy season. According to him, the campaign is designed to educate marketers on the importance of procuring genuine and quality product. Mr. Raya emphasized the need for grassroots education on best practices and the consequences of improper disposal of chemical containers. The coordinator also mentioned that a sensitization exercise had earlier been conducted in partnership with the National Orientation Agency at the Soro Weekly Market in Ganjua local government area. He said the exercise targeted major marketers and buyers and generated valuable feedback on the use of agricultural chemicals by local farmers. The coordinator said NAFDAC also held a meeting with the Forum of Agrochemical and Pesticide Dealers in the state to discuss the registration of manufactured products. The Nigeria Broadcasting Commission (NBC) has said it is doing everything to ensure that Nigerian children do not consume harmful messages through the broadcast media. This came at the grand finale of the 2024 school debate competition organized by the Vision Africa with the theme "Is the social media impactful to teenagers?" in Umuahia, the Abia State capital. The NBC, through its coordinating director of broadcast monitoring, Mrs. Susan Obi, said it would sustain its role in preventing destructive materials from ongoing out from broadcast outfit into the broadcast environment. The commission said, as future leaders, every content children consumed must be such the world and would impact positively on them and help them make informed choices about life rather than content that would mislead them. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Mr. Ola Olukoyede, has urged Nigerian students to use the internet for positive ventures rather than fraud. Mr. Olukoyede stated this during a one-day symposium titled Safe Campus for Students, Combating Physical and Digital Threats, organized by the National Association of Nigerian Students Joint Campus Council at Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, Benin City. Speaking through the head of Public Affairs Unit, Benin Zonal Directorate, ACE-1, Williams Osagale, Mr. Olukoyede advised students to desist from internet-based criminal activities. He warned that such practices would destabilize the nation's economy, discourage foreign direct investments, and undermine genuine government effort towards economic growth and development. The EFCC boss urged students to develop ideas that would promote economic progress. Mr. Olukoyede expressed concern over the widespread nature of internet fraud, noted that many youth engage in it to their own detriment and that of Nigeria's reputation. He called on students to be disciplined and avoid temptation of quick wealth, emphasizing its serious consequences. Mr. Olukoyede encouraged youth to view corruption as an enemy to be defeated. The National Working Committee (NWC) of the Social Democratic Party (SDP) has suspended with immediate effect the party's national chairman Alhaji Shehu Gabam, the national auditor Nze Clarkson, and the national youth leader Uche Chukuma over alleged financial misconduct. The alleged misappropriated funds amount to hundreds of millions of naira, including donations and resources realized from the sales of nomination forms in the 2023 general elections and other funds from the party accounts. The party, in a statement today, said the suspension followed the resolution of the NWC meeting, where overwhelming evidences were presented linking to the suspended officials to a series of unauthorized financial transactions, personal enrichment schemes, and movement of funds from the party's amount and account without necessary approvals by the NWC. The statement said the decision to suspend the trio was to demonstrate to Nigerians that the party had zero tolerance for corruption and abuse of office, adding that the suspension would also allow for a thorough investigation. The statement disclosed that an interim investigative panel had been constituted to audit all the parties' financial records and recommend further disciplinary or legal actions, even as the Deputy National Chairman, Dr. Sadiq Abubakar, said and had been directed to assume leadership of the party pending the outcome of the investigations. Stakeholders in the various ministries, departments and agencies of the Delta State government have been charged to uphold due process, integrity, transparency and selflessness in the performance of duties. The Director General, Revenue Monitoring, Tracking and Audit, Mr. Mike Edegware, gave the charge while speaking with journalists in Asaba. Mr. Edegware, a lawyer, said the monitoring, tracking and audit of government revenue and expenditure was not a witch hunt, but a deliberate effort to ensure that the finances of the state government was used judiciously to the advantage of all. He said the prudent management of resources by Governor Sheriff Obodewere has led to the harvest of projects in all sectors and reminded facilitators of the moral agenda of the need to follow his footsteps. The DG said public office should not be seen as platform to acquire questionable wealth, but should be used to render quality service to galvanize desired change. He said the state was doing well in the area of internally generated revenue, saying such move would ultimately translate into more human capital and infrastructural development across the state. To those who might want to divert state resources into personal gains, Mr. Edogware advised them to rescind warning that anyone culpable and culpable would face the full weight of the law. He reiterated that his office was committed to ensuring that all revenues received and expended met its aims and objectives without diversion. Mr. Edegware called on Deltas to remain supportive to the Governor Sheriff Obodewere's administration for accelerated transformation of the state. You're watching Delta Television Main News. Still to come, Israel and Iran accuses each other of violating ceasefire deal. Details on this story and more after this short break. Please stay with us.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throw away your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate
na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba.
You're welcome back. You're watching the Delta Television Main News. The global scene is next as we join our world news desk.
The United States President Donald Trump has said Israel and Iran have both violated the ceasefire brokered by the US and Qatar, and that he was really unhappy with Israel. He called on Israel to stop dropping bombs and to bring home their pilots. Israel Defense Minister Israel Katz said he has ordered intensive strikes on Tehran, accusing Iran of violating the truce brokered by the US and Qatar.
The ceasefire between Israel and Iran is already showing signs of strain and has triggered frustration in a televised expletive from United States President Donald Trump, who accused Israel of undermining the deal just hours after its announcement. The ceasefire brokered by the US and Qatar came into effect late Monday following days of intensive missile barrages between the two forces. Israel's last wave of strikes targeted Iranian military infrastructure near Isfahan, prompting retaliatory drone launches by Tehran.
And away from our world news, let's now join our business news desk for happenings in the business sector.
Oil prices sank more than 5% today after Israel said it had agreed to US President Donald Trump's proposal for a bilateral ceasefire with Iran. At around 5 a.m. this morning, Brent was down 5.0% at $67.93 per barrel, while the Midwest crude contract WTI was 5.1% lower at $65.0.